Welcome to the Instagram stories for Thursday, December 2nd. Some good Instagram news to get into today. Let's jump right in. First, the lead story comes from Antigone Davis and a blog post that she wrote on about.fb.com. Antigone Davis is the head of global safety at Facebook. Basically, she works with all the internal people at Facebook and Meta and the external safety organizations, governments, making sure that Facebook is safe online and everyone understands the steps that Facebook is taking to make the world safe. The long blog post that appeared today on about.fb.com, which I'll link to in the show notes, of course, explained a little bit about the organization's strategy as it comes to messaging across Facebook Messenger and Instagram DMs when it comes to end-to-end encryption. End-to-end encryption is designed to protect people's private messages so that only the sender and the recipient can access their messages. So if you're sharing photos or banking details with family or friends, it's encrypted, the information can be shared safely. However, some people, as you can probably imagine, are using end-to-end encryption for harmful reasons. Facebook recognizes that they have a responsibility to protect the users, and therefore they have to take a thorough approach to safety, which makes sense, and I agree with. As of today, this blog post outlines the updated approach to end-to-end encryption for messages. 3 bullets. 1, working to prevent abuse from happening in the first place. 2, giving people more controls to help them stay safe. And 3, responding to reports on potential harm. The blog post gives a lot of examples of ways that Facebook and Instagram have set up protections in place to make sure that the system is not abused. They give an example like if an adult repeatedly sets up new profiles and tries to connect with minors they don't know or message a large number of strangers, Facebook can intervene to take action, preventing them from interacting with minors. They also default minors into private or friends-only accounts, which they've started to do recently on Instagram and Facebook. They have educational screens within the apps with advice on avoiding unwanted interactions specifically for young people. These are all good measures and unfortunately very necessary. The blog post also outlines how Instagram and Facebook give you more control over your inbox. For instance, they have the hidden words feature on Instagram, so people can decide what words are offensive. Maybe that includes certain phrases or emojis, and then filter all the DMs that have that word or phrase or emoji into a hidden folder so they don't have to see them. I want to talk about that for 1 second because although it is true that Facebook and Instagram have given controls and protections to allow you to manage your inbox, I still get tons of messages from bots on a regular basis inviting me to buy followers and do other sketchy things. So although the protections they have in place are good, I think they could certainly be a lot better because these bots are able to get through the protection without any issues whatsoever. The last part of the blog post has to do with responding to potential harm, where you can report a specific message and actually say that it involves a child, which will prioritize the report for review and action. In this section of the blog post, though, there's something I really want to call out. She highlights that reporting certain conversations decrypts portions of the conversation that were previously encrypted and unavailable to Facebook so that they can take immediate action if violations are detected, whether it's scams, bullying, harassment, or violent crimes. I think there's pros and cons to that approach. Obviously, it could be used for good, and you would want it to be, but also you could report a message perhaps that you didn't like and say that it involves a child, and now suddenly Facebook has the ability to decrypt that message. Also, there are flaws in this feature. For instance, someone might have forgotten that they could report a conversation. Perhaps they think it isn't warranted necessarily to report, even though it clearly should be. There's definitely things where this could be improved. It's good to see that Facebook Meta is taking steps in the right direction, especially in view of the Senate subcommittee hearing that's going to be happening in the next week or two. But I think there's still a long way to go to improve things as an experience, especially for young people on the platforms. And in other somewhat related to Instagram news, Spotify Wrapped is now here for 2021. If you haven't seen it on your stories already, I'm sure your friends and people you follow are posting about it. Spotify Wrapped basically gives you all the music that you've been listening to over the past year in a ranked manner, showing which artists you listen to most, which podcasts you listen to most, and makes them very easy to share to your Instagram stories, Twitter, and now TikTok, which is also very interesting. This is a great way to show your audience what you listen to and give them a chance to connect with you because you listen to the same artists, the same songs, or the same podcasts. I'm a huge fan of this, and even though I think Apple Music does have a similar feature, it is not nearly as popular or widely used from what I can tell. So if you're a Spotify user, go ahead and share your Wrapped. I bet your audience will love it. That's going to do it for today's show. Come back tomorrow for more Instagram news, strategy, tips, and more.
I'm not yet a member of the Instagram team, but my podcast covers many Instagram themes. But the name, image, logos are trademarks at Instagram and the LCC in the USA and every territory. Everything I publish independently until Zuck returns my DMs and starts to pay my salary. Not sponsored or endorsed, no lies, no fallacies. I use their logo with permission, not malicious or callously. No trademark violation, filling all criteria. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Daniel Hill Media.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Thanks for listening. If you appreciate the content that I make, could you do me a favor? Go on Apple Music and leave a review for this show. It would really help other people to find the show, and I love reading good feedback, so if you wouldn't mind, take 2 minutes, go on Apple Music and leave a review. Thanks so much.